try to get around everybody else, and if there's time left, we'll come back to you. Anybody else got a comment or question? Yes, sir.
I'm fairly new to the state of Georgia and the county of Mango. I've been down here 7 years. First meeting I've been to, you've been doing a pretty good job. Taxes haven't gone up that bad. I'm originally from New Jersey, work for the police department up there. I think there is room for cuts in a lot of departments. You might say no, but what do they do at the end of the year? All the government jobs, extra money. They got to spend it, they're going to cut it from my budget next year. They always want to get more money next year, so they have to spend what they have in this year. There has to be some room for cuts in that area. The other one is maybe some of your management positions, some of the extra secretaries, some of just share responsibility between two different people doing one job to cut some of the salary that way. Yes, I know it's hard cuts, but it's some of the stuff that everybody else is just saying. They're on fixed salaries, they're on cut salaries. In New Jersey, the school budget has to go out on referendum. It has to get voted on by the public. If it doesn't pass, then it would go in front of like the commissioners to have to cut it, to look at it and put it again to the vote. They were set with a cap, 5% for their budget to go up each year. Capital expenditures were exempt from that cap, but there was a cap that they had for capital expenditures. There has to be something that can be done to keep our taxes a little more reasonable than going up at that rate. I know it's not much of a question, but it's a comment.
Jim, I know a lot of times in state government especially, they have budgets, and like you said, they'll come to the end of the year, they'll have excess money, and their mentality is to spend that dollar so they won't be cut the following year. The Calhoun County budget is unlike the state budget. We don't have a lot of fat in it, and you can ask most of the departments here, but all the departments. I've never known any county department at the end of the year to come up and spend money kind of close to the end of the year, so they won't be cut next year. I mean, and that's something if it happened, we would know it. And I know that the other departments we got, we don't operate that way. But I know that does happen, and I agree with you. If we did, then that would be a position that we could have, that we could go back to this department and say, hey, look, you come up here and you spent a bunch of money toward the end of the year. Why did you do that? We could draw from that. But to my knowledge, that doesn't happen in our departments in the county.
Well, I mean, I don't know exactly how Swainsboro tax falls in that, but I know that does happen over there. I don't know if it falls exactly into your jurisdiction.
Swainsboro, Texas, no, that doesn't have anything to do with this. Yeah, that's state. So and like I said, yeah, that does happen in state government. But to my knowledge, in our county government, I don't know of any department we got that deliberately comes up at the end of the year and buys up a lot of stuff and try to spend the money. It just doesn't happen. If it did, we'd be aware of it and we'd call their hand the following year. We would.
But his main message is there is room to cut, and we are trying to tell y'all to go back and cut the budget, and also come up with new revenue sources. So can y'all do that? Can y'all tell us all these citizens here? Each citizen here represents at least 100 other citizens. And can y'all tell us that our voice counts tonight? I mean, can y'all actually sit there and tell us what we're saying counts, and y'all will listen to what we're saying and vote the way the public wants to vote? Or are y'all willing to go back and cut the budget, or willing to go back and apply for more grants and raise more revenue so that we don't have to raise our taxes? Can y'all tell us that y'all are willing to do that?
We're definitely going to take y'all's comments seriously. I can promise you that. One thing on a long range scale, especially since we got so many folks here tonight, we've talked about this commission. It's been introduced in the state legislature, probably tossed around a little bit at the federal level. But I think as a county here, and y'all are broad representation of this county, we need to get on the same page with at least one thing. And talking about reducing property tax in general and a move toward a sales tax, whatever, for a genuine need. And, the state legislature tried to do that with an extra percent sales tax or whatever it may be to take the burden of the school tax off of the property tax owners. And I think, you know, the state, it would be good if they did that. Of course, a better way to do that, I think, would be across the board from the federal government, a federal sales tax from education. If not all of it, just take some of the burden off of the property owner, because it's got too large. You know, that would be my suggestion, because I guarantee you, every county in this state is going through the same thing we are. Now, some of them hadn't set their budget yet, but you'll be hearing about them soon. And they'll all be screaming too, rightfully so. And so that's the only thing that's really fair, a fair tax, is a sales tax if you gotta have tax money. And I would suggest everybody seriously think about that, talk to your federal representatives, your state representatives, and try to give them, make it a priority to make that happen and get the burden off the taxpayer.
I've got two comments. You said look at other ways to generate revenue. And all the state cuts, public safety across the state, GSP, Georgia State Patrol, has been cut it's took a major lick on it. Now, we've got a patrol post here in Manuel County. We have lost the communications part of that to Bullitt County. We have lost troopers that's on the road. Those troopers generate revenue for this county with fines. Our sheriff here realized that. Several years ago, we went to him and asked him about going to a radar system in one of his patrol cars. He was totally against it. But the situation that we're in, he has currently changed his mind, has been running radar now for several months to offset the lost revenue that we're losing from the state patrol. He's not out there trying